I haven't seen a fan base this toxic and this desperate since the Snyder Cult. If you'll recall, a few weeks ago, I made a video pointing out some recent DC fans that decided to send me death threats over me not giving two shits about all the Batman spin-offs coming out. And recently, I also did a video on how the Percy Jackson cast is absolutely terrible. And considering YouTube Studio, which every YouTuber uses, allows you to restrict comments for, be able to, it automatically holds comments that are, let's just say, doesn't really follow the YouTube guidelines, allows it to hold it for you to decide whether or not it's, viable for your comment section. And there have been so many comments that have ended up in that little area, I guess I could call it. And these are just fucking hilarious at this point. Yeah, the death threats sent by the DC fanboys were bad, but holy crap, this is just funny. The other ones pissed me off because I've dealt with shit like that before from Snyder fanboys, and then just regular DC fans came out and I'm like, nope, I'm done with DC. This is to a level where I just fucking laugh. And no, I didn't allow any of these to be actually on the video because, toxicity has no place on this channel. If you have a different opinion, you can post it freely in the comments, but toxicity has no place on this channel. But I decided to read you some of these comments because some of these are some of the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life. And I would like to point out that I was pointing out that the casting was wrong. And yet, about probably 50 people up to this point have called me racist for it. And I'd like them to explain why. Because pointing out that casting is bad when your fucking author who wrote the book and put excruciating detail what the character looks like and pointed it out so many times throughout the book to the point where it was annoying, and then ditches it. So why is it my fault that I don't like the casting? And why should I bend my knee to you toxic pieces of shit who suck off to Rick Riordan as hard as the Snyder fanboys do to Zack Snyder? So, I'm gonna just I'm not gonna read all of them because there are way too many. And if I read all of them, I'm gonna give myself a heart attack by laughing so hard. So, here's some of these. Most of these are just calling me racist, so there's not really much to point out. One of them, I'm going to kill you for what you said about the actress who plays Annabeth. Yeah, good luck with that. And these two are some of the funniest fucking things I've ever seen in my life. This is peak nerd right here. If I was a child of Hades, I'd send you I would send you to Fields of Tartarus for your racist comments. This is peak nerd right here. That is some of the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life. One, just the threats are empty, I know that, and they literally just came here to complain, so why the fuck should I care? Two, calling me racist, along with 50 other people, is fucking stupid because it's casting. I don't like the casting. I would like them to go back into my video and point out where I said anything against the actress herself. They can't do it. They literally can't. You know why? Because I didn't say anything against her. I said everything against Riordan and his dumbass casting. And I know this because there are plenty of other people in the comments who actually said, yes, this casting is bullshit. And they're right, because it is. I don't understand, or you know what, I do understand because they're toxic, entitled nerds who think their opinion is the only one that matters. And if you disagree with your opinion, and especially nowadays, you're racist, you're sexist, you're whatever other ist they found on Reddit. And that people call everybody when they don't agree with their opinion nowadays. So, I don't give a fuck. I'm making this video just to point out to people how stupid fan bases can be. Fan bases nowadays have gotten out of control. They really have. Even some fan bases that I consider myself to be a part of have some of the most toxic motherfuckers on the face of the earth. Even ones like the MCU, who I have met many MCU fans, because I'm of course one of them, and many of them are super nice people, but there are some that think that if you didn't like a specific movie, or if you did like a specific movie, or this certain character isn't your favorite, then they will call you whatever the fuck they want, or whatever words they found on Reddit, or Webster's Dictionary, or whatever the fuck people use to get all these adjectives that no one's ever heard of. And the Star Wars fan base has gotten this as well. And I'd like to point out that there are people, they're Disney calling out fans for being racist when they're pointing out how stupid their character is does not count. I'm talking about the people who used to berate people for liking the prequels, and now there are people who berate people for not liking the prequels. And the same thing is true of the sequel trilogy. If you like the sequel trilogy, you will get hated. If you say something bad about the sequel trilogy, you're gonna get hated. So, no matter what, that fan base, and really that franchise is kind of in a ditch now, so I don't associate myself with that one anymore. DC's already been in the shitter for years, and it's only gotten worse, clearly. But this, and even someone in my comments of that video pointed out that Percy Jackson fans, the book fans, are some of the worst people on the face of the earth. And this proves it. Because I have never seen a person who likes the movies that has said anything like this to somebody when they don't agree with their opinion. Ever. You know why? Because they're not toxic, entitled fans who think their opinion is the only one that matters. And they have to blindly agree with whatever the fuck Rick Riordan wants because he's God to them, apparently. Just good God, I'm embarrassed for the good people within fan bases. I'm embarrassed for all of the great people in the Marvel fan base. I'm embarrassed for the good people in the Star Wars fan base. I'm embarrassed for the nice people in the DC fan base, because I know there are some, I've met some, and they'll even tell you, even though they say they like the DC movies for whatever fucking reason, they're not going to send you death threats over it. And there have to be some good, because there are people who like the books that aren't this. So I know they're out there, and I hate, that's not the only thing I hate about this, is that these are the people who represent the fan bases, because they're the loudest. The ones who don't care, if someone comes up to you, I don't like this movie. Okay, I don't care. Those are the people that don't make a ton of noise because they don't care. They don't want to make a ton of noise. And that's exactly what a fan base should be. They should talk about why they like the fan base, or why they don't like certain things about it, and have friendly debates about it. That's what I assume fan bases used to be. That's what they used to be. But that's not what they are anymore. Especially shit like this. Because these aren't fans. These are obsessed idiots on the internet who, again, think Rick Riordan is God, and any decision he makes, even if they're stupid as fuck, will say it's a masterpiece decision, and if you don't agree, you're racist or you're sexist or something. I've had it. I've had it. So, I am never reading the Percy Jackson books again. I will watch the movies as much as I fucking want. I will watch those movies on end. Remember when I said, if you saw my Percy Jackson review, which many did, that is my highest viewed video, period, because it's over 2,500 views now. And I said at the end of it, I'm going to rewatch The Lightning Thief. I have rewatched the Percy Jackson movies since recording that, and that was less than 3 weeks ago. I have watched each movie 3 times. Both movies, I've watched each of them 3 times since then. You know how many times I've touched one of the books? 0. I refuse to even touch them anymore. I avoid the books like they're the fucking plague. Especially the newer ones, which I haven't even read. I gave up on Magnus Chase. I gave up on Trials of Apollo years ago because they were garbage. And I can't even read the old ones. I used to like the old books, but now I can't read them because I know the people who like this do shit like this. I can't do it. And I feel bad for the people who like the movies because I know they go through the same shit. And I feel bad, and again, I feel bad for the people who like the books that aren't malicious. I feel bad for them Because these are the people who are representing them. I feel bad for them. And you know what? And people, again, I'd like them to point out where I said a single thing against the actress. I even said within that video, she could be a perfectly fine actress, but that's not the point. But you know why they don't know that? Because they don't actually watch the video. They see the thumbnail, they go into the video, let it play for maybe 30 seconds while they're commenting about how racist I am. That's what they do. And I know that's what they do because they have a thing of how far people actually watch the video. So I'm able to track it. So I know that's what they're doing. Especially considering how many of those comments there are. And hell, that video alone's gotten me several subscribers already. So I know there are people who are with me on this. And I know there are people who feel bad for me on this because they've already sent me messages about it. So, yeah, again, fan bases are dead. They really are. The fan base industry, I don't know what else to call it, that's what I'm going to call it, is fucking dead. Fan base, because nowadays you hear the word fan base, you immediately think of the toxic assholes like this who are representing that fan base. It's horrific. Which is why I can't even associate myself with any fan base anymore outside of the MCU, because that's the only one that isn't completely represented by toxic douchebags. It has some, don't get me wrong, like I said, I've met a few, but it's the only one that's not. But the rest of these, I'm never touching the Percy Jackson books again. And the show, you better believe I will tear that thing a new one. If I have to, I will force myself to hate it if that's what it takes. It won't come to that because I'll hate it regardless, but no, expect it to get the Zack Snyder Justice League level treatment of getting several reviews pointing out why it's so shitty. Expect that to be coming next year when that garbage show officially hits Disney+, because Disney's dead as well, so yeah. So yeah, thank you so much for watching and indulging this rant, and once again, like I said in my last Percy Jackson video, I'm gonna go watch the movies again, probably every day until ever. So yeah, I'll see you on whatever video I make next. Maybe it'll be a rant, maybe it'll be a review. Who knows at this point?